Welcome back. Today's class is a strong Vinyasa, well-rounded class. Class is about 45 minutes, I think. So start seated with your legs crossed and sit up straight and tall. So gravity's force is going to try to make you sink, but try to lift up. Lift up through the crown of your head. Move your sacrum, the back of your pelvis, move it in and up. Roll your shoulders back and lift your chest. Begin to breathe deeply and evenly in and out through your nose. So just watch your breath. As you adjust your posture and you sit tall, it's going to affect the way that you breathe. So now interlace your fingers, turn your palms to face forward, and as you inhale, raise your arms up and overhead. Watch that when you take your arms up, your waist will want to push forward, so instead, deepen your waist, draw your front bottom ribs back down towards your hip points, and then start to lift your arms more. So this is going to really reveal how much stretch you're getting in your shoulders instead of just pushing your ribs out. Bring your arms back down, change the interlock. So shift the hands, other index finger on top, turn the palms to face forward and raise your arms up. Release the inner front buttock bone down, lift up your belly, and then lift up through the thumb, index finger side of the hand. Really reach, move your outer arms in, firm your tricep muscles in, and lift with that thumb index finger side. Good, bring your hands back down. And now come onto your hands and your knees. Curl your toes under, press your hands down evenly into the mat, especially the base of the index finger. Turn your triceps back, and then lift your knees and start to press back into downward facing dog. So lift the hips up away from the wrists. As you push down into your hands, especially the index finger knuckle, lift up on your forearm. Start to take the thigh bones back away from the wrists. And now this is similar. It's similar to what you're just doing when you're stretching your arms. You don't want your ribs to lift way up. So draw the ribs into the body as you stretch in dog. Now bring your right knee up to your chest. Shift forward and then step your right foot close to your right thumb. We're going to do a few stretches here. Turn your back foot onto the mat, put your right hand on the inside of your foot, and then bring your left hand to your hip. Start to open up your chest. Now take your left arm up. So you want your feet to be heel to arch. You want your back foot angled in slightly, and then make your right knee point straight ahead. Squeeze your right hip in, and as you push strong into your back heel, lengthen out from your tailbone to your crown. So notice there's a tendency to kind of just sink. Instead, pull length through your spine. Draw your belly in. Good. Now bring your hand back down. Left hand goes down. Take your right arm up and twist. As you twist, keep your back leg strong. So lift up your back inner knee. Push to your heel. Lengthen from tailbone to crown, and then turn your chest but not your hips. Bring your right fingertips back down to the mat. Last pose here on this side. Float your arms back behind you. Now squeeze in with your legs. Pretend like you had a block in between your legs. You're squeezing in. Pull up your low abs and now lengthen. Move your sternum forward. Lunge a little bit deeper into the front of your heel, keeping your back leg strong. Now plant your hands and bring your knee up to your chest. Round out. Pull your knee up high like you're going to touch your knee to your nose. Good. Inhale into one-legged plank. Try not to let the hips twist. Lower the foot down, hold in plank pose. Press straight back to downward facing dog. Steady your breath, smooth breathing. Bring your left knee up to your chest and shift forward. Step your left foot up close to your thumb. Turn your back heel down, put your left hand on the inside of your foot, bring your right hand to your hip and just start to open your chest. So begin to anchor into all four corners of your feet. Press your feet evenly into the mat. Make your left knee point straight ahead and squeeze your left hip in and under you. Now take your right arm up. Move your side chest away from your hips and spread your arms. Press through your back heel and find a long line from your back heel all the way out to the crown of your head, the highest point of your head. Feel your length. Keep your waist deep. Bring your right fingertips back down to the mat. Spin your back heel up. Pause here. Then take your left arm up to the ceiling. Try not to let your hips twist as you take your left arm up. So instead, see if you can turn from above your navel. Get a little bit more rotation in your thoracic spine, but keep lengthening the whole time. So you try to find that same line of energy from your back heel all the way to the top of your head. Open your chest through the reach of your arms. Bring your left hand back down. Last one. Float your arms back behind you and hover your chest an inch or two above your knee. Lift up on your back inner knee. Reach through your heel. Shoulder blades on your back. All 4 sides of your neck long. Keep your breath steady. Now, keeping the back leg strong, bend your left leg a little bit deeper. Plant your hands and bring your knee up to your chest now. Pull it up and hold. Back round. Knee up high. Inhale into one-legged plank. Don't let your foot touch. Try not to let the hips twist. Now lengthen. Make a flat back. Set your foot down. Hold in plank. Inner thighs up. Draw your belly in and up. Now shift your whole body an inch forward and lower your chest down to elbow height. Chaturanga. Hold here. Keep the legs strong. Now lift your belly and lift straight back up. Try not to let your hips dip when you lift back up. Press back to dog pose. One more time. Inhale, plank position. Keep those legs straight. Shift forward, lower to chaturanga. Elbows in, legs straight. Press straight back up. Downward facing dog. Good. Now walk your feet to the front of the mat. Take your feet hip distance apart. Grab a hold of opposite elbows and fold forward. So notice when you fold forward, if your knees kind of like lock back, you want your knees to stack over your ankles. So if you have to bend your knees a little bit to make that happen, go ahead. Stack the knees over the ankles. And you might want to keep a little bend in your knees for this first forward fold. Start to bring your hips forward over your ankles as well. Let your head hang. All right, now bring your hands to your hips. Press down into your feet and come on up to stand. Now bring the big toes together. Roll the inner thighs back into a neutral position so the kneecaps point straight ahead. And as you press down into your heels, grow tall, lift up through the crown of the head. Keep your waist deep. Inhale, raise your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Try to create a flat back. Now plant your hands, keeping your chest forward. Step one leg and then the other back to plank pose. Hold there. Shift forward and lower to chaturanga. Flip your toes back one at a time. And come into up dog. Keep your knees lifted, inner thighs up like in Tadasana. Lift up out of your lower back, pull your belly up, and roll your shoulder tips back. Now hug your ankles in, keep reaching your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. So as you hold in dog, come back to your steady breathing. Inhales sound like the exhales. Hands pressed even, toe mounds rooted. Look in between your hands. Step one foot forward, your right foot all the way up, and then your left. Try not to let your hips swing to the side. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, let it go, fold deeply. Press to stand, inhale, come all the way up. Reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, bring your arms to your side. Good, like a snow angel. Reach the arms out to the side. Externally rotate the arms and reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, get length, inner thighs back, navel in. Good, step your legs back one at a time. Shift forward, lower to chaturanga, pause. Flip your toes back one at a time, upward facing dog. Keep your kneecaps tight. Lift up, lift your sternum. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold down dog, steady your breath again. Look in between the hands, bend your knees. Okay, now step your left foot all the way forward without your hips swinging out to the left. Now step the right leg forward and inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Press into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach your arms up. Exhale, hands to your side, Samastiti. So just like that same stretch that we started with, as the arms go up, keep your waist deep, keep your front ribs in. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, make a flat back. Keep your heart forward. This time, step or hop back to chaturanga. Flip your toes with control. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, so the hands are shoulder width apart. the feet go hip width apart. If you look at your hands, you want to make sure that the creases of your wrists are parallel to the front of your mat, so you don't want your hands turned in at all. Bend your knees, look where you're going. Step or hop right where you're looking. Try to get your feet all the way up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Press into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach your arms up. Exhale, arms back to your side. Sun Salutation B. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. From down dog, step your right foot up close to your right thumb. Wiggle it all the way up till the toes are aligned with the fingers. Now adjust your back heel for Warrior One. So that means turn the heel down and turn the toes in a little more than halfway. Press into your feet. Inhale, Warrior One. Reach your arms up. Exhale to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your left foot all the way up in between your hands. Turn your back heel. Hug your left hip in. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. So this video presupposes that you know how to do Warrior One, that you know these poses of the salutations. If you haven't learned these postures yet, in some of the other videos, they are gone over in detail. So in the standing pose video and the sun salutations video, there's more of a breakdown. So if you're like, I'm in a little over my head, you can watch those videos. All right, look between your hands. Step or hop lightly to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back, get your length. Exhale, fold deeply. Take all that length and fold even deeper. Feel the hamstring stretch. Inhale into chair pose. Bend your knees, sit your hips back, take your arms up. Feel the weight in the front of the heels. Release the inner thighs down, keep your belly in. Now press to stand, arms go to your side. Again, sun salute B. Inhale into chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, stretch your toes back. Exhale, down dog. Warrior One, step your right foot, moving with the breath. Inhale, reach your arms up, breath with movement, come up steady. Exhale, Chaturanga, lower slow with control. Inhale, up dog, flip your toes back, stretch the toes, roll the chest open. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot. Inhale, Warrior One, ride your breath up. Exhale, Chaturanga, lower with control. Slow and steady. Inhale, up dog, flip your toes back. Exhale, down dog. So instead of rolling over the toes, it's kind of an advanced way to go in and out of the Chaturanga up dog. I recommend flipping one foot back and then the other. But if you're already practicing rolling over the toes, just make sure you keep your ankles in. Look in between your hands, bend your knees, step or jump lightly to the front of your mat. Inhale, get your length. And exhale, take it deep into your forward fold. Inhale, sit back into chair. Keep your hips low as your arms go up and energize the reach of the arms. Press to stand, bring your hands to your side, Samastiti. Again, Ekam, inhale into chair. Dwe, exhale, fold forward. Trini, inhale, head up. Chatori, exhale, Chaturanga. Pancha, inhale, up dog. Shat, exhale, down dog. Sapta, right leg steps, inhale. Ashto, exhale, Chaturanga. Nawa, inhale, up dog. Desha, exhale, down dog. Ekadasha, left leg steps, inhale. Dwadasha, exhale, chaturanga. Triodasha, inhale, up dog. Chaturdasha, exhale, down dog. 5 breaths, in and out through your nose. Panchadasha. Oh, well, actually, we're done with the salute, so we'll not finish the Ashtanga countings, Sanskrit countings. Shift forward to plank position, and then come into plank on your forearms. Look at your fingers, firm your legs. Now lift your right leg up an inch, but don't let your hips twist. Spin your right thigh out, so turn the toes out. Now bring the knee up to hip height, but don't let your hips twist. So notice I'm staying really even in the core. My belly stays in. Now as you exhale, squeeze your glute and lift your leg up an inch, and then inhale, let it lower. Exhale, squeeze your glute and lift your leg up an inch. Hold it up there. Don't let your hips twist. Okay, now send the leg back, come up into plank position. Step your right foot for warrior 2. Right foot steps in between the hands, come on up into warrior 2. So press down evenly into the 4 corners of your back foot, grow tall, lengthen through your spine, and draw your navel in. So you want your hips to be, it's as if they were in the same line doing Tadasana as the left leg. So instead of trying to square your hips towards the side you're facing, you want to allow your hips to turn slightly towards your right knee to make the same rotation that your left thigh has made. So allow your hips to make that rotation. Now straighten your right leg and reach out over your straight right leg. Triangle pose. Spin your inner right thigh forward. Push down evenly into your right foot and then start to hug your right hip in as you open up your chest. Good. Look for length as you open. Keep pressing evenly into your feet. Take your left arm externally, rotate it, and reach it all the way overhead. It's just a variation of triangle pose. Then take your arm back up, internally rotate it, and wrap it behind your back so you hook your hand like right in your outer hip. Now bend your right knee towards 90. Put your fingertips on the inside of your foot. Keep your right hip hugged in. Roll the left shoulder tip back and open your chest. Keep a lift on the back inner thigh. And now, just like we practiced earlier in class, try to find length from your back heel all the way out to the crown of your head. Find that line of energy in your body and lengthen it without your ribs sticking out. Keep your waist in. Keep your right knee tracking straight ahead. Good. Keep the back leg strong. See if you can bend your right leg just a little bit deeper. Lunge into the front of the heel. Take your left arm back up. Bring your hands back to the mat. Spin your back heel up and step back to plank position. Come into plank on your forearms again. Lower one arm down and then the other. Elbows in under your shoulders. Without letting your belly drop, lift your left leg up an inch. And don't let the hips twist. Spin the thigh out and then bring the knee up to hip height. As you exhale, squeeze your outer hip and lift your knee up. And inhale, lower it an inch. Exhale, squeeze, draw the outer left knee into the hip socket, lift it up. Inhale, pause, stretch the leg back to plank on your forearms. Now come back into high plank, hands down. Bring your left leg, step your left foot in between your hands. Spin your back heel flat onto the mat. Feet lined up, heel to arch. Warrior 2, come on up. Now I remember why I did that. So that little lift of your leg was to encourage the muscles in your left outer hip that help to track the left knee straight ahead on this side. So what you want to do is lengthen your inner left leg, feel the groin release towards the knee, and then pull from the outer left knee into the hip socket until you start to feel that little squeeze in your left outer hip, just like when you're trying to lift your leg up. It's the same muscles. Glad I remember to say that. So press down even into your back foot, grow tall through the crown of your head. Keep that squeeze on your left butt, just like when you're lifting that leg out to the side in plank position. That was the method to the madness. 5 more breaths here. Watch your breath. Let it move evenly. Good. Now straighten your left leg. Hands on your hips. Feel your hips tip over your thigh. You don't have to do the hands on the hips, but I like it so I can feel the movement of the pelvis. Put your left hand down. Take your right arm up. So again, press evenly into your feet, just like you did on the other side, all four corners. Turn the left inner thigh forward until your left knee points straight ahead, and then start to hug your left hip into the line of your ankle. Externally rotate your right arm, and then reach it all the way overhead. External rotation just means like wrap the tricep side of the arm down, bicep side up. Now take your arm back up and do the opposite rotation. Internally rotate it and wrap it behind your back. You could also Google it if you're confused. I'm sure Google has some information on external, internal. Okay, so with your arm behind your back, keeping the back foot anchored, start to bend your left knee towards 90 degrees. Notice the more that you bend your knee, the more you want to sink in your spine. Your back will start to round, your butt will start to stick out, and your shoulders start to roll forward. That's just what happens. Your body tries to go to the path of least resistance. So instead, you got to work here. Push into the back foot, firm that left hip in and press the knee open. Now roll the right shoulder tip back so you open up across your chest and lengthen out from your tailbone to your crown. You're trying to find more length. The navel stays in. Good. Roll that shoulder tip back just a little bit more if you can. Good. Take your right arm back up. Press down into your feet. Bring your hand back to the mat. Spin your right heel up so you're in a lunge, hands on either side of the foot. Step to plank pose. Hold in your plank. Good. Press back to downward facing dog. So you're welcome to add a vinyasa there if you want, but skipping, saving the wrists and shoulders. Step your right foot up close to your right thumb and prepare your back foot for Warrior 2 again. So step the foot in between the hands, spin the back heel, come on up, Warrior 2. Now reach out over your bent right leg. Put your hand on the outside of your foot and take your left arm all the way overhead. Externally rotate as you reach the arm overhead, extended side angle. So in this pose, you want that line from your back heel to your fingertips. Okay, now from here, slide your right hand a foot in front of your pinky toe, step your back leg in and then up, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. So in all of these postures, the reason I did that little plank on your forearms thing is that same muscle in your outer hip, glute med that you had to use to like lift your knee up away from the floor when you're in plank, that's the muscle you should feel turn on to help hug your right hip in this pose so that it's over your ankle. If that muscle isn't turned on, you're just going to be sinking into your joints. So squeeze in, lift your back leg from the inner thigh, squeeze in on your right hip, lengthen out, move your side chest forward, lengthen out of your low back. Now put a micro bend in your right knee, lower your left fingertips and level your hips, lower your left leg to meet your right. Inhale into chair pose, press to stand, Samastiti. Cross your right ankle just above your left knee, and sit your hips back like you're sitting in a chair again, but on this side, keep the left hip hugged in so it stays tracking with the left ankle. Now send your arms forward and sit way back like you're sitting to a tiny chair. Good, keep reaching. Now stay there for 5 breaths, or you can try this arm balance flying pigeon. You're gonna hook the right shin up into the armpits. The arm bones want to externally rotate like you practice. You put your hands down and bend your elbows and hug them in like in chaturanga. Then see if you can lean into your arms and lift your left foot up an inch. If the balance is good, maybe you could lift the left leg and straighten it. If you're not doing that, you're staying in that last little chair pose with the arms forward. Now, if you did the arm balance, or whichever one you're in, come all the way up to stand now. Reach your arms up. Bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, reach the arms up, sun salute. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, lengthen out. Step back to downward facing dog. You're welcome to do a vinyasa if you prefer. From down dog, step your left foot in between your hands. Spin your back heel flat onto the mat. Come up into Warrior 2. From Warrior 2, place your left fingertips on the outside of your foot And use a block. If you feel like you are rounding to get your hand down to the mat, that's not good. You want your spine to be just like in Tadasana, that same kind of length that you feel when you stand in Tadasana. So if, if you have to put a block under your hand, I always forget to bring a block. I actually usually use a block when I practice this at home, but I always forget to bring a block when we shoot these videos. So I'm way up high on my fingertips, so I can try to find the line of energy in the pose. The line of energy is your back ankle to your fingertips. So mine is sinking just a little bit. You could tell I normally use the block. From here, step into half moon. So slide your fingertips a foot in front of your pinky toe. Step your back leg in and up. And squeeze that left hip in. Those same muscles in your outer hip. We want to engage those muscles as you stand. Strong hips will help to keep your back healthy. So as you firm that left hip in, it's helping to protect your low back. Lengthen out of your lower back, move your side chest forward. Lift your back leg up until it matches the angle of your torso, the line of your spine. Open your chest. Good. Now put just a micro bend in that left knee and lower your right fingertips. Level the hips and lower your right leg to meet your left. Inhale into chair pose, bend your knees, sit your hips back. Exhale, press to stand. Now cross your left ankle just above your right knee. Ankle goes right to the outside of the knee. Sit back like you're sitting in a chair, but keep your right hip in the line of your right ankle. Don't let it swing to the side. Arms go forward. Start to sit the hips back. Stay there, or if you did the arm balance on the other side, hook your leg up in your armpits, way up high. Turn the upper arm bones externally and place the hands down. Hug your elbows in. Lean into your chaturanga arms and maybe lift the right leg up from the inner thigh. Good. Now everybody come. It's just you. I'm used to saying that in class. Come on up to stand. Reach your arms up overhead. And sit into chair. Then squat all the way down for crow pose. So in crow pose, you want to hook your knees way up high in the outer arms, the same external rotation, lean into your chaturanga arms, squeeze in, pressing even in the hands, then start to lift your heels up higher up towards your buttocks. From here, either step or jump back to chaturanga. Lift back up to plank without your hips sinking. Keep your belly in. Downward facing dog. From down dog, bring your right knee up to your chest and then step your right foot close to your right thumb. Step your back foot a few inches closer and straighten your right leg, fold forward. Now bring your hands to your hips. Press down to your feet and come up to stand. Grab opposite elbows behind your back. Roll your shoulders back. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. As you fold forward, you want to keep your right inner foot anchored, and you want to squeeze that right hip into the midline, into the line of the ankle. Also, keep all four corners of your back foot anchored, but especially the outer heel want to lift. Keep that right hip in. And now there's the tendency to just round in your upper back. Instead, where your hands are, you could feel where your hands are. Keep lengthening there where your hands are in your back. Keep lengthening that part of your spine. Now interlace your hands and stretch the knuckles up and overhead. Turn the tricep muscles towards each other. Let the back of the skull go. And make sure that you're still in the toe mounds of your right foot, that you haven't locked your right knee. The back of the calf muscle presses forward so you stay in the toe mounds. Release your hands, put your hands down on the mat, and step up into standing splits. So lift the left leg up from the inner thigh. You have to keep firming the right hip in so that the hip stays aligned over the ankle. Press evenly into the right foot and lift the left leg up higher, navel in, head down. Good. Now lower your left leg to meet your right. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Pull your left knee up to your chest and then step your foot close to your thumb. Step your back foot a few inches closer and straighten your left leg as you fold forward. Bring your hands into your hips, press into your feet. Inhale, come up. Grab opposite elbows, but this time grab the other elbow. Roll the shoulders back and inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold forward. Keep your left hip in as you fold forward. It's going to want to swing out to the side and forward. So push down into your left big toe mound. Hug your left hip back into the midline, so it's in the line of your ankle. And as you push firmly into your back heel, start to lengthen out over your left leg. Remember your bandhas, so you don't just want to sink when you're in a forward fold. You actually want to keep like a lift of energy through your spine, like you're lifting up to your pelvic floor, your navel draws in, and then start to lengthen the back of your head towards your toe. Interlace your hands and stretch your knuckles up and overhead. Squeeze that left hip back in. Breathe steady. Then bring the fingertips to the mat. Step up to balance on your left leg. If you want to practice balancing, you could try to bring one hand to the ankle, maybe both hands. It might help you in the posture to move deeper into it. Otherwise, you can just keep both hands down as you lift your leg up for the standing splits. Lower your right leg to meet your left and fold forward, let your head drop. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, bring your hands to prayer and sit way back in your chair. Now lean your chest out over your knees and use the muscles of your middle to twist to your right instead of rounding. So keep your length as you twist to the right. Sit the buttock bones back, lengthen straight out through the crown of your head, the highest point of your head. Without the hips twisting, turn the ribs and chest more. Bring the weight into your right foot, and as steady as you can without the hips wiggling around, step your left foot back into a lunge. Lift up on your back inner knee. Hug the right hip in so it's in the line of the ankle. And continue to lengthen straight out through the top of your head. Put your right hand on your hip, put your left hand down, a foot in front of your foot on the inside, and then lift your back leg up to hip height. So your left hand, your left ankle are in the same line. Continue to lengthen, move your side chest forward as you twist, and then take your right arm up if you're steady. Remember, you could always use a block. So actually, I would benefit from a small block in this pose. You can see I'm starting to round. Instead, you want to be pulled up and lengthened so that from your back heel to the crown of your head, you have that line of energy. Keep your right hip hugged in. Lower your right hand and lower your left leg to meet your right. Fold forward, let your head drop. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Bring your hands to prayer, sit deep into your chair, twist to your left. When you twist, your right hip will want to start to come forward. So draw the right hip back and in until the knees are lined up, big toes are lined up. Lengthen out as you twist. Steady your breath. Shift the weight over into the left heel and take a big step back with your right foot into a lunge. So now crescent twist. Energize through the back leg. Move your sternum forward. Draw your navel in as you turn your ribs in your chest. Then from here, bring your left hand to your hip. Put your right hand down a foot in front of your foot. Try not to let your chest turn down. Keep your chest turned. Now step your back leg up to hip height. And find your length. Notice how your back wants to round, especially in the upper back. So right where your arms were when you're grabbing opposite elbows, especially that part of your spine. Make length there. Lengthen out and turn your chest. Reach with your arms. Lift the back leg to hip height and make sure your left hip is still hugged in over your ankle. Remember to breathe. Smooth, steady breathing in and out through your nose. Good. Lower your left hand. Lower your right leg to meet your left and fold forward. Let your head drop. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Then sit way low in your chair and sit all the way back into boat pose, Navasana. Bend your knees and lift your heels up. So bent knee variation of boat pose, and bring your hands to the backs of your legs. As you hold the backs of your legs, try to move your spine in instead of letting your back round. Then maybe you can straighten your legs without your back rounding. Keep lifting up, move the spine in. Now round your back to the mat. Back ribs down, And then straighten your legs. When your legs go straight, don't let your belly lift. So look at your low abs, draw them in. Now keep your hip bones where they are. Don't let them follow your legs. See if you can lower your legs another inch, but keep your abs in. Now take your right leg straight up. Bring your hands up and over to the outside of your right leg and hold. Shoulders out of your ears, neck long. Slowly lower your right leg to meet your left. And then as you exhale, bring it back up. Don't let your hips move. Don't let your belly move. Keep it in. Inhale, lower. Exhale, bring it back up. Come back to center. Change legs. Left leg goes up. Right leg goes forward. Stay with it. You're almost there. Keep your belly in. Now use the muscles in your middle to help you lift and twist. Lower your left leg slowly to meet your right. And then bring it back up. Inhale, slowly lower. Don't let your hip bones follow. Keep them where they are. Exhale, bring your leg back up. Come back to center. Lower your left leg to meet your right and hold. Come back up to boat pose. Lift your sternum. Cross your legs at the shins. Plant your hands down and pick up and jump back to chaturanga. Or somehow get back to chaturanga and then lower to your belly. Come into baby cobra. Roll your shoulder tips away from the mat. Press your toes down. Lift your inner knees. Now roll into up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just breathe here for a few breaths. Lower your knees down and sit back on your heels. Sit in Virasana or take child's pose. Actually, come onto your hands and your elbows now. So with your elbows down, take your hands shoulder width apart. Curl your toes under and lift your knees. Down dog on your forearms. Try to walk your feet in closer without your back rounding. And then without your hips twisting, lift your left leg up from the inner thigh. If you want to practice Pinchamayurasana, if you're practicing balancing on your forearms, you could kick up against a wall, or if you can balance in the middle of the room, go ahead and practice that. Otherwise, I want you to just hold that leg up there, and that's going to start to make you strong to be able to do this pose. Good. Lower that leg back down and lift the other leg up from the inner thigh and hold. Lower that leg back down. Hold there, down dog on your forearms. Press down evenly into your forearms. Lift up your hips. All right, now lower your knees back to the mat and sit in Virasana or Vajrasana. Heels on the buttocks. Buttocks on the heels. Good. Now transition to lying on your back. Come into bridge pose. Press your heels down. Lift your hips up. Grab a hold of the sides of your mat if you're using a mat. Take your forefingers under and your thumbs on top. Pull the mat out to the sides. Like try to rip the mat in two. And as you do that, spin your biceps out and press your arm bones down. Try to lift your chest a little bit more. Plug your blades in and lift your outer hips up high. Good. Lower your hips back down. Take a deep breath. Again, go back up, bridge pose. This time, I'm practicing a variation called Chatushpadasana. It's where you grab a hold of your ankles. But once you grab your ankles, you don't want your knees to come way forward. So try to move your shins back into the line of your ankles again. Press the forearms down, press the arm bones down, lift the outer hips. Lower yourself back down. Good. Then from here, cross your right knee over your left knee. Shift your hips over to the right a bit, arms out to the side, and let your legs fall over to the left. So twist to release your back after the back bend. If you would have preferred to do Urdhva upward facing bow, that would have been a good time to do it. You can always pause the video and do your Urdhva if you'd like to do a few of those. just a couple more breaths here. Let your back start to release, spine unwind. Then bring your knees and your hips back to center. Change the cross of your legs. Shift the hips over to the left and let the knees fall to the right. Arms spread out to the side. Watch your breath. Good, just another breath here. Then bring your knees and your hips back to center. And take Happy Baby. You can take the variation where you hold your big toes or grab a hold of the outsides of your feet. But important, when you go into Happy Baby, you're going to feel that your shoulders want to lift up off the mat and your butt wants to lift up. So instead, let your shoulders drop back down and let your butt drop back down towards the mat, your tailbone drop back down. Feel your spine start to lengthen and your back start to release. Breathe steady. Now hug your knees into your chest, roll up to seated, and take Upavishta Konasana, legs wide apart. So sit with your legs wide apart and first sit up tall. Then turn your chest to face your right foot and reach with your left hand towards your right foot. You can kind of use your right fingertips to push into the mat so you can tip your pelvis over your right thigh. What I mean by that is your butt kind of wants to tuck under unless you're super flexible in your hamstrings. So I use my hand to kind of help angle my buttock bones back as I reach for my foot. If you're already really flexible in your hamstrings, do that less and push down with your butt bones more. Inhale, come back up and change sides. So if forward folding is real difficult for you, think of reaching the buttock bones back, turning the knees to point up, and reaching towards your foot. If forward folding comes very easily, press the buttock bones down more as you reach. Good. Inhale, come back up, and this time stretch straight down the middle. So if you look at your feet, you want all the toes pointing straight up to the ceiling or the sky. Press through the heels. Let the thigh bones release down. Pretend like I put big heavy weights on your thigh bones. Let the inner thighs release. You can stay here with the hands stretched forward, or you can bring your hands to grab your big toes. So even though you are folding, you are in forward flexion, your back is rounding, you want to keep the idea that you're trying to lengthen the whole time. Inhale, come back up, bring your legs together, and slowly roll yourself down one vertebra at a time onto your back for corpse pose, Shavasana. Adjust the blades in the buttocks, shoulder blades down the back, buttock out of the low back, so you have your neutral curve in your low back. Let your feet spread open, take your hands to your side, palms facing up. Take Shavasana, corpse pose. So you want to give yourself, I always say you want to give yourself at least 5 minutes in this pose to relax. Watch your breath, let go, no more doing. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel and tell a friend. Spotify is an application where I post playlists. So if you want to listen to music, I have some playlists on there. You can link up some of those playlists. So make sure you take Shavasana, and on some of the next videos we'll add a little extra time so the ads don't start playing while you're in Shavasana. Thank you. Namaste.